So if you're new to websites and servers and hosting and things like that, you're probably, you've come across FTP now. You probably already know about this one. This is how you're actually managing the files and the directories and everything like this on the server. And that's where people get a little bit stuck, because when it comes to the task of then moving server, they think that FTP is the way that they're going to get their data across. But what you're doing is you're adding a third person, a man in the middle, by using FTP, because you're going to download it from the old server, you're going to download it to your computer, then you're going to move it from your computer to the new server. And on top of that, file transfer protocol isn't the fastest to be using. Okay? And so actually this is where a lot of people get stuck, and they think this is the only method that they know and can use, and there's something much, much better. So that's just what I want to try and show you guys very quickly here now. Now you are going to have to go and do your own research. You are going to have to figure out a few things yourselves. So what we're going to talk about now is SSH, and in particular using a command called SCP, which is Secure Transfers. Okay, maybe it stands for Secure Copy Protocol, I don't know. But either way, it's actually a far more secure method than using FTP. Okay, if you're using SFTP, then it's okay. But actually what SCP is doing, it's actually encrypting the data before it sends it across the network. Okay, which is absolutely fantastic for transferring large websites and bigger projects. You don't want to be openly transmitting them across the network, across the internet in open space. Okay. So hopefully you've seen or come across SSH before. Now, SSH on Windows, you need like a third-party application to do this. My favorite one is just called PuTTY. It's the most commonly used one. It's a tiny little program. This is what it looks like when you open it up. Okay, and all you do is you just bang in a server. Yeah, just like you would using FTP. You're just going to bang in your server. Now, providing that SSH is available on the server, it's going to do something like this. Okay, it's going to ask you to log in. Now, if it's the first time you've done it, it's going to ask you to confirm probably the encryption key pairs. Okay, and you're just going to press yes on that. Mine's already taken me straight through because I've done it before. And then I'm just going to type in the master account, which is dangerous, but I'm just going to show you for example's sake. Then it's going to ask you for the SSH password. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have to go figure out some stuff for yourselves, the specifics to your server. Let me just type out that 32 key phrase. And it's going to welcome you to the server. Now, depending on your server, it's going to give you a different set of messages here. All right. So now we're into SSH, which stands for Secure Shell. That's all that is. We're now connected to the belly of the beast of the server. All right. And now what we can do is we can just have a whole bunch of command. And here's one that I've pre-configured and actually set out. In fact, I should connect to a different server to actually show you this working. Let me just open up a new PuTTY quickly. And now you notice that I did not type in a password there, and that's because I'm using the PGP or PEM or PPK. I'm basically using an encryption key. Okay, so it's like a private key, which is the secret to actually connecting to this server. So I don't actually need to type in my password when connecting to this, just the username. Alright, so this is the new server, and here's the old server. Alright, so I've got two terminal windows open. Alright, and now here's our SCP command. Now remember, it goes command, then usually a switch or the perimeters, and then the perimeters. Sorry. So we've got our switch here, then the perimeters, and the definition of what it is that we're actually going to run. So SCP at the beginning. There's the command. Now our switch is going to be -R, which is just going to be recursive. So it's going to do a folder, because what I want to do here, I want to copy an entire website, which means copying an entire folder from the old server to the new server. And so if you've used FTP a little bit, you'll know that it's usually called HTTP docs or htdocs or something like this. Is usually the folder, excuse me, where all of the folders sit for a website, all the files sit for a website. Okay, so what I've done is here, I've got an SCP -r, so it's going to do the whole folder. And then I've got the user at, so it's basically that username at, and then the server name, colon, /, and then that full path to the folder. And you can actually find that by using FTP. If you're not sure, jump back into your FTP or SFTP, depending on what you're using, and then go off and you can trundle and go and find that. You probably know where that is. It's probably common for you. vhosts, that's where mine is, SF Homes. So now I'm in the same folder as I would normally be working, uploading all my files, my WordPress site, whatever it is. And here's the full path. Here it is in FTP. Okay, in FileZilla. This is FileZilla, by the way. So there's that full path. So I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to put that there. So now I've used that part of the command. I've fully specified that I'm going to connect to the old server using SSH, technically. And then there's the full path. That's the end folder. And then I'm going to tell it where to put it on the new server. And now actually, you know, if you're already in that directory, then it doesn't matter so much. And I'm just going to create a new folder here. So let's copy that. Now here's another little trick. When you copy a command to put it into PuTTY for Windows, you can't use Control-V. Doesn't work. But actually all you need to do is just right-click your mouse and it appears. Alright, it's just a little tip and trick that'll save you typing out a whole bunch of commands on Windows. I wanted to say, sorry, that on Windows you have to use a third-party app like PuTTY, but actually on a Linux-based machine you don't need to because you've got Terminal natively. And on Macs, Apple Macs, iMacs, whatever, has Terminal. If you just go into apps and then go into tools and utilities, you're going to see an icon that looks like a black box, and that's called Terminal. And that's exactly the same as what we're using here. So you have Terminal natively on every Mac machine because Mac is running Linux, okay? Or Unix, sorry. So now that I've pasted in the command, all I need to do is press enter. It's now going to toddle off. It's trying to connect to the old server. So I'm going to have to give it the stuff it needs. I'm going to press OK, and now it's copying the files. Awesome. Look at that. That's now just going to sit there, go away. All right. I can even close this window and it will carry on that command. That's how awesome this is. Okay, so now we can forget about that. It's done. There's no man in the middle. We're not downloading the files to our own computer. It's going from server to server. And then it's just telling us what it's doing. Okay? So that's really, really awesome. And in fact, we can make that even quicker. And just in case you're interested, I've just cancelled that by doing Control-C. In Linux shell environment, Control-C will just cancel away. Because actually, if you do ping, if you start pinging a website like Google, unlike Windows, it will just carry on pinging it. Yeah? And yeah, the only way would be to either close the window or to cancel the command then to actually stop it. Okay? Alright, so there's some basics. Now you can speed up SCP. You can change the encryption method that it's using. I believe Blowfish is the default. And you can just change this to a slightly less secure method of encryption, and that will speed it up incredibly. So, you know, that's the kind of thing you can't even do with FileZilla. When you're using SFTP and you're doing your file transfers, you don't have that type of control over what's going on that I'm aware of. Maybe someone can correct me there. But anyway, either way, SFTP isn't going to work out using FileZilla because you're always going to have man in the middle. So that's the purpose of this. Hopefully that's a little bit helpful. If you just type in SCP command into Google, you'll come across a plethora of websites all explaining what I have here. If you need to copy and paste some of this code, I will do you the favor of just copying and pasting the command that I've used into the description of this video. Hopefully this is helpful for at least one person.